Hi everyone, welcome back to the Premier Challenge from Pokemon Labs. Right now we are going in for a real special match. These guys have gone undefeated in these last 2 rounds, or they've won them, and they've got some pretty neat Pokemon. We've got Kyle Hudson and Tricia Solomon. This is going to be a very interesting matchup. Let's get it started. So, in this case, these guys are definitely contenders for the championship right now of the day. We are going to have a new champion. So far, every single tournament from this format has been won by the same person. So now with a bunch of people getting a chance to win a Premier Challenge for once, these two have been at the top of the list for contenders, especially with the Pokemon that they're using. They're using Pokemon with, already just looking at what we're up for, we've got some really interesting strategies that are about to be played. And we're just getting them set up right now. So, in this case, taking a look at the teams right now, we're gonna be in for very interesting. We have, there we go. Now it's up. We've got Tapu Fini, Incineroar, Groudon, Venusaur, Yveltal, and Metagross coming out. Metagross being something that has been a common Xerneas counter when it's Mega Form, but it's not able to use his Mega Form anymore. Now it has to rely on just Metagross, and that is why it's been very... This guy had an eye on it. People have had their eye on it. And now we're going to see, does Metagross work? Wow, that's on Kyle's side. Tricia's carrying Incineroar, Kyogre, Lunala, Stakataka, Tapu Koko, and Sarina. And Sarina is another point of interest because Incineroar, it's the only grass type really that can counter Incineroar. It has, usually it can carry high jump kick or low kick. Those are the 2 most common fighting moves on Sarina. They are both to deal with Incineroar, as well as carrying Queenly Majesty ability. That prevents priority, and that also prevents fake out. One kind of common move we've seen so far is Kyogre Sarina. That prevents it from going for any priority attack to stop Kyogre. And Sarina also, another common strategy carries is Feint. And Feint will break through protection of any Pokemon, allowing it to get hit this turn. Although it does very, very little damage. So let's get started in this match. You're going to see Kyle closer to the screen on the left side, Tricia on the right. And don't forget, these guys are both 2-2 so far. I'm sorry, 2-0 so far. Won both of the past 2 rounds, so whoever wins this is going to continue their undefeated streak today. Kyle leading with Groudon and Venusaur, and we're going to see Tapu Koko and Lunala from Tricia's side. Now, Kyle has the advantage here because the sun is going up for that Venusaur, and Venusaur benefits from that. It has chlorophyll ability most of the time, and honestly, I've not seen one Venusaur without chlorophyll. Chlorophyll, the reason it's so popular is the chlorophyll will double its speed in the sun. And with Groudon setting up the sun naturally, it's able to boost Venusaur's speed with absolutely no effort. So Venusaur's being quickest on the field. It also is a poison type, so Tapu Koko can't hit the Groudon with an electric type, can't hit the Venusaur with a fairy type. So it's going to switch out here, and we're going to see it switch in to Kyogre. There goes the sun, but Venusaur, the speed boost from Venusaur is not removed until the next turn. So Venusaur will still go first. Oh, going for Protect, so it isn't going to be able to take advantage of the sun. We're going to see Calm Mind from Lunala. So that means it is not holding a choice item, or if it is, it's completely useless. We saw it have the Electric Seed earlier. So now it has a defense boost and special defense boost. And we're going to see Stealth Rock come out of Groudon's. Stealth Rock means whenever a Pokemon switches in, it will take damage right away. It's a very common strategy, if not requirement, in single battles to carry that. But it's very, very rare in doubles and VGC formats. So very interesting to see Groudon using that Stealth Rock attack. It kind of traps Tricia's Pokemon in. Especially, Lunala does not want to switch out in this match because Calm Mind with the boost there, as well as the Electric Seed boost, that'll definitely give it more leeway to work with. But it has to, with this Yveltal coming out from Kyle's side. You wanna be careful that Yveltal. It's got a 4x weakness. Scald going on to the Groudon slot, so Kyle's Groudon's gonna live to see another day. And a Psyshock from Tricia's side onto the Yveltal. Yveltal is dark and is immune to psychic moves, so we pretty much went in a circle, except we did see the Yveltal switch in there. So all Pokemon, all 4 Pokemon are at full health in the electric terrain, so that prevents sleep. That was another thing. Venusaur is known for carrying Sleep Powder earlier, so that electric terrain, Venusaur can't really come out and go for its move Sleep Powder, which is a very common move on it. Puts the opposing Pokemon to sleep. Can't do that in the electric terrain. But now, because of the Stealth Rock from Kyle's side, after the terrain is gone, and if he can reset the sun, he'll definitely cripple that Koko. Another benefit to Stealth Rock that could be used is Focus Sash. We know that Focus Sash keeps the Pokemon alive with 1 HP if it's carrying it, but with the Focus Sash and Stealth Rock, as soon as a Pokemon from Tricia's side switches in that and it takes damage from Stealth Rock, the Focus Sash is gone. A knockoff onto Lunala there, or sorry, Sucker Punch onto Lunala will get it down to red health, and a burn onto the Yveltal. With that burn, Yveltal's physical attack stats like Sucker Punch, and if it does carry knockoff, that's been a very common move for it. Those are now halved, and we're gonna see Moongeist Beam onto Venusaur. Venusaur is gonna survive it with 33 HP. The burn also puts a timer on Yveltal. It only has a certain amount of turns before it can move. And with that, we went from having 4 full health Pokemon to 3 Pokemon down to red health and 1 in the full. Venusaur and Yveltal on Kyle's side both down to 33 and 34 health, respectively. That's kind of crazy. Tricia down to red health on her Lunala as well, so Kyogre has the advantage of keeping in full health, and if any Pokemon wants to have full health, it's Kyogre. Its move Water Spout not only hits both of the opposing Pokemon, but it also does that at full damage. And we're going to see the Kyogre go for Scald onto Venusaur, so it'll survive this turn. Yveltal will live long enough to set up a Tailwind that boosts speed by 2. Kyle's Venusaur and Yveltal are now definitely faster than Tricia's team. And Artemis, the Lunala, is going to raise its health back up thanks to Roost. And now though it's not quite at full health, so the Shadow Shield ability, which halves attacks given to it, is still not in play, unfortunately. And especially with Yveltal. Yeah, Yveltal, it's got a 4x weakness onto it, and we saw it, the Lunala take it with the Shadow Shield, but without the Shadow Shield, Lunala is in a desperate situation against Dark types, and bringing out another Dark type is Kyle there with that Incineroar. That lowers the attack stat of Tricia's team, though we've seen both of them are special attackers, so it's not a huge deal. And we've also seen all of Tricia's moves here with that Lunala. We've seen the Calm Mind, we've seen the Roost, we've seen the Psyshock, I believe, and we've seen the Moongeist Beam. Yeah, we have seen the Psyshock because that went onto the Yveltal early on. And Yveltal going to go for knockoff, this time onto the Sarina, gonna get rid of its Agua Berry, and Yveltal, that Life Orb damage there. Life Orb boosts the 30% in the Life Orb boosts 30% in damage, but it costs itself some damage, and the burn, that timer on Yveltal has just ticked all the way down to 0. It is gone. Electricity is also gone from the battlefield, and Lunala also recovered its health thanks to Roost. It's now up to full health, that Shadow Shield ability back in play. It'll take 50% less damage than it normally would from attacks there. And Venusaur going to return to the field from Kyle's side. 33 HP left, not a lot. It could go, I believe the Tailwind is still up, so he still has a shot. And Venusaur also with Sludge Bomb. We know that is a super effective move. I don't know, we haven't seen Sludge Bomb yet. We haven't really seen anything from Venusaur yet on attacks, but we know that Venusaur does carry Stab, Poison, and that's definitely something to threaten Sarina, especially with no Assault Vest and it's very gone. Sarina gotta be wary of Venusaur. So that is most likely the reason that Kyle switched into that, even with a Psychic attack looming up from that Lunala. So Kyle has locked in because we can see his time, and we're going to see Tricia get rid of her Sarina and Tapu Koko. So the sleep is once again gone, so Venusaur cannot use Sleep Powder if it carries it, and Coco will also take some Stealth Rock damage there. Kyle, we're going to see Venusaur go for Protect here. I believe he still has a Tailwind up, so he can go first. No, but Lunala's quicker. Lunala's quicker there. Incineroar, it is naturally slow, so that might... I don't know if the Tailwind is still up. So, if it is, then we know Lunala is quick enough to add speed Incineroar and Tailwind. If not, then Lunala is just quicker in general. We know the Electric Terrain being out, that does cripple Venusaur a little, but again, Venusaur has Stab, Sludge Move, Sludge, there it is, the Sludge Bomb, and there is the Tailwind. Sludge Bomb went on to the Lunala slot, which isn't very effective. Lunala taking very little damage from it, but it's enough where if it were to roost, it will not, if Lunala were to roost, it will not go for the full health Shadow Shield protection there. And we do see that the Venusaur being quicker while not in the sun means either that Venusaur is naturally fast, and outspeeds Lunala, or if they have Tailwind, so... We are now going to see another Stealth Rock damage, and that was actually Kyle. He had the opportunity to knock out the right side, and that was very tempting because both Tapu Koko and Sarina are... And actually, now I just realized Tapu Koko was on the field, so there's the Tailwind. Yeah, the Tailwind was in play. And with that in mind, now the Tailwind's gone. Tricia's team seems to be very fast compared to Kyle's team. We know that Sarina and Lunala are fast enough to outspeed Incineroar, and Lunala, depending on the set, could outspeed Venusaur, and with very, very little. And we're going to see another Roost, so Lunala's going to be fastest, we now know that information, compared to Kyle's Venusaur and Tricia's own Sarina. And we're going to see Sludge Bomb from Venusaur, so Venusaur will outspeed, and with that Sludge Bomb there, the Sarina is gone. All eyes now on Kyle's Incineroar as it goes for the knockoff onto the Lunala. It won't knock off an item, but it's 4 times the weakness. Will remove the Lunala. Kyle has just taken out those 2 Pokemon. Now he's got Tapu Koko to worry about in the back. Though Venusaur does have a super effective move on it. We're also going to see Kyogre come back in play for the first time in since the beginning of this match. So Tricia has a very good combination here to tackle the rest of the team. Tapu Koko in the electric terrain does do a lot of damage onto anything, and Venusaur being at red health, it will be able to take that out. While Incineroar has to be careful of that instead of Kyogre in general, because Kyogre, no matter what attack it goes for, whether it be Water Spout, Origin Pulse, or Scald, which are all the 3 most common water types, Kyogre will be able to take out this Incineroar. So let's see. We're going to see Scald. That's going to go from Kyogre onto Incineroar, and that Incineroar is gone. That Incineroar is out of the battle for good. And we are going to see Tapu Koko go for Thunder. Thunder is a 110 base move, which is much higher than Thunderbolt, and usually a 70 accuracy, which is why it's such a threat. But thanks to the rain, it has the increased accuracy up to 100%, but that is completely gone. There's no more use in that because Kyle sends out his Groudon. Groudon in play. Venusaur is now quickest on the field with that double speed, and Tapu Koko and Kyogre are both weak to Venusaur. So that Venusaur went from being not too much of a threat to instant threat right there. Tapu Koko will go for the protect on Tricia's side. Kyle is going to go for the Grass Knot, going to try and remove this Kyogre. The Grass Knot does a massive amount of damage and will knock out that Kyogre thanks to a critical hit in part. That was intense. Precipice Blade's not quite a knockout on Tapu Koko because it protected. And with that, you know, Kyle's in this perfect position with 2 things that Tapu Koko is weak to. The ground type on Groudon and the Sludge Bomb on Venusaur. Tricia can't really do much. The best attack it can go for is a Dazzling Gleam onto the Groudon. And Venusaur, with its Sludge Bomb, will be able to take out this Tapu Koko. And Venusaur, another critical hit. Venusaur is the master of critical hits here. And Kyle Hudson is going to take game 1 of round 3 thanks to that Venusaur there. And that is again, a Pokemon that has not seen a lot of love in the past few formats, finally getting some usage. Venusaur definitely went from zero to hero this format. Now, again, this is my favorite, like I said last round, this is my favorite part of, I think I said this last round, if I didn't, it still is my favorite part of the match. Seeing the leads, they're so unpredictable, and looking on both sides, you see Kyle with those double dark type, and we saw Tricia lead with Lunala last time. That might be something that could be reconsidered because dark types are a huge threat to Lunala. As for Kyle, we saw Venusaur, it didn't get its sun usage in until the very end with Kyogre, and until when it was up against that Kyogre. And Kyogre is the reason why. When Kyogre switched in earlier on the field, earlier in the game, it was able to remove the sun that Groudon had set on the first turn, and with that, it was now able to remove Venusaur's speed boost and threat status at the moment. But you can't forget about any Pokemon in this game. If you don't account for every Pokemon, then you are going to be in bad shape. Luckily, I don't think either of these two have done that, but that is something that you always have to keep in mind when playing. We're going to see this time a Groudon Yveltal lead from Kyle. So that's a very fun lead, going for his double restricted legends off the bat, and Tricia bringing out Stakataka, Incineroar. So that was a lead, I believe. I don't think we saw either of these two in the lead or at all last round. We did not see any of these two last round. So a completely different team here for Tricia. And we then saw that obviously Kyle's Pokemon are going to be faster than Tricia's. Incineroar and Stakataka are known for having very, very low speed stats. And the thing that I think Tricia might not have expected was that Groudon lead, because both Incineroar and Stakataka are weak to that. But there is a way to counter it, and it's called Fake Out. Fake Out with Incineroar, if it targets Fake Out from Incineroar if it targets the Groudon. That will prevent Groudon from moving this turn, and it could set up that Trick Room if Stakataka needs the Trick Room. They could also switch out these two slower Pokemon and get in a better position. There is the Fake Out there, and it's onto Groudon, so Groudon will not move this turn. Yveltal going to knock off onto Stakataka, and it does around what looks like a quarter, maybe a third of its damage, and we're going to see the flinch from Groudon, and there's the Trick Room. So now Tricia is fastest on the field with its Incineroar, Stakataka. Incineroar doesn't really have a super effective move, so it can't make use of that, but Stakataka has Rock Slide, which is super effective on Yveltal. So that will be that is a strategy that Tricia might be going for. This is an interesting scenario because Tricia does have the speed advantage, but typing advantage wise, Kyle seems to have that ground types threatening both of Tricia's Mons. We're going to see Incineroar switch into Kyle, not back in. And he is going to intimidate both of Tricia's Pokemon, and both of Tricia's Pokemon are known physical attackers, so that will definitely cripple them a little. The Rock Slide, even though it's not super effective on Yveltal, it is still super effective on Incineroar. Gets it down to 28 HP. And I don't believe that was a critical hit. There we go. And Incineroar will see it's very active. Most likely that Figgy Berry or the Pinch Berry of the sort. And yeah, it's the Figgy Berry. So we are now going to see knockoff from Tricia's Groudon. And let's see, is that Groudon going to go? It's going to go for Stealth Rock. So both of Tricia's ground-weak Pokemon live to see another day there. So we now know the Stakataka and Tricia's Incineroar. We don't know the speed on Kyle's Incineroar there. And it does have Fake Out, so it is able to use that Fake Out. If it can use that Fake Out appropriately, then that's not a good position for Tricia. But we've seen Tricia carry Sarina. That prevents Fake Out. We're going to see Wide Guard. There's the first show of Wide Guard this match. Stakataka carrying that prevents moves like Precipice Blades that hit both of the opposing Pokemon. And Fake Out being, with Stakataka being slower, it means that the Fake Out, the Wide Guard went first, and Stakataka, even with a Fake Out, is going to get that Wide Guard out, and the Flare Blitz crits on Kyle's side. Tricia's Incineroar knocking out the Groudon. the biggest threat to Tricia's current 2 Pokemon is now off the field. So Kyle, that was a big play there. Kyle missing that Groudon, bringing back in Yveltal. Yveltal is a quicker Pokemon, so we do know that it will be the slowest on the field. And with Stack Attack carrying those Rock-type attacks, threatening both of Yveltal and Incineroar, Kyle's gonna really need to think, to maybe take some extra time, think it through. But this game is not over, as is in any Pokemon match. It is not over until all 4 are out. The match can still change, the tide can still turn very, very quickly. Now, we know that the Trick Room is in play, but how long will the Trick Room be in play? We've seen it in play for quite a while now, so I said in play 3 times there, so that was probably confusing. Either way, the Trick Room is going to run out very soon, and that we're gonna see knockoff now. That's gonna remove. Oh, I'm sorry, Stack Attack has his item removed already, and Yveltal's gonna protect. But the Trick Room being removed from play, that is what Tricia is really banking on mainly. At the moment, both of her Pokemon are the quickest on the field thanks to the Trick Room, and there's 1 more turn left as we can see on the screen now. So at the end of this turn, the Trick Room will be gone for good. Kyle might be able to make use of that. Sucker Punch coming out onto Stack Attack. Is that enough to knock it out? No, it is not. Stack Attack is going to live to see another day and get a Rock Slide off onto these Pokemon that are both weak to Rock, but it's not enough power to finish them both off, or either off for that matter. But the flinch going onto Kyle's Incineroar, and a knockoff now going onto Yveltal. So with the knockoff, Yveltal's Life Orb is gone. Sunlight is also gone, and the Trick Room, once again, is gone. Yveltal now fastest on the field. We saw it have Sucker Punch. That priority Sucker Punch, that might be useful. However, Stack Attack, it's in an interesting position because it could do a couple things. It could go for Trick Room, try and get back in a better speed position, or it could go for Rock Slide to try and knock out these 2. Either way, it banks on having to live this turn through. Let's see what's going to happen. Yveltal going to knock off onto the Incineroar, so Tricia's Incineroar does actually a decent amount of damage. The Assault Vest from Tricia's Incineroar is gone. Flare Blitz from Tricia's Incineroar onto the Yveltal. That'll do enough damage to finish Yveltal. So Kyle has now had 2 Pokemon knocked out, and he's going to go for the knockoff onto that Stack Attack. So Tricia's Stack Attack, it's gone as well. And now we're just left with Incineroars trying to be more intimidating against one another. Kyle gonna bring out his final Pokemon, which is Venusaur, we now see. Now, with Tricia getting to bring out a different Mon, this is the Kyogre. And we know, we're gonna see this Stealth Rock right there. Kyogre, it's a huge threat to this Incineroar. And now with Kyle's the Venusaur switching in. The Venusaur is usually designed, Venusaurs this format especially, are usually designed to keep that, they're designed to keep a hit from Kyogre, even from the max attack Kyogre. And if they can do that, we saw the Grass Knot hit, although it was a crit, the Grass Knot still might be enough to finish off Kyogre here. And if it is, Tricia will now be down to her last 2 Pokemon. Tricia, though, that Kyogre, that is definitely, all eyes are on that right now, and we're going to see a switch out. Interesting strategy there. We're going to see Tricia switch into Sarina, that prevents priority attacks with its Queenly Majesty, but Incineroar here, it doesn't prevent Protect, so Incineroar is going to get that off. Grass Knot, that is why Sarina switched in. Grass Knot, Sarina not only is a very light Pokemon, but it is also a grass type which resists other grass moves like Grass Knot. So Grass Knot did an insanely little amount of damage. And in the rain, Sarina doesn't really feel that threatened by Incineroar's Flare Blitz from Kyle's side, because in the rain, the damage is halved from fire attacks. Now it's just like a normally effective move and not a super effective move. And don't forget, Tricia still has that Kyogre in the back. That's the great rain setup there. And we're going to see Tricia's Incineroar switch out into Kyogre now. So Kyle has the opportunity to knock out the Kyogre if he can call this switch, but he's going to go for the Sludge Bomb onto the Sarina, which is not quite a knockout. Serena will eat its berry, and that will be the pinch berry, and that will restore its health back up to plus 50%. Low kick onto the Incineroar. It's a super effective move. It's enough to take it out. And now this Venusaur is all alone in this final match. Or sorry, final Pokemon left. This might not be the final match because Tricia played it very, very well. The Venusaur now has the option to either go for the Sludge Bomb onto Serena. We've seen that. We've seen the Grass Knot for Kyogre. Kyogre, we're going to see Feint. Feint is a priority move, breaks protection, so but Venusaur didn't end up going for Protect anyway. Ice Beam from Kyogre. Venusaur weak to that Ice Beam. And Kyogre, with its monstrous special attack stat, will take out the Venusaur. It is 1-1 in this match. That was a great adjustment by Tricia there. We did not see Lunala, and that might have been the pressure from Yveltal and Incineroar on Kyle's side, causing that Lunala to stay out of this match. And Kyle going, I believe, with Kyle's lead there, the Groudon, he went for that Stealth Rock, which is something that has been very interesting. And that might, one of the reasons it might be an option that Kyle has been using is we know with Kyogre, its main attack on almost every Kyogre is Water Spout, but that relies on how much HP you have on your own Kyogre. So Stealth Rock, every time that Kyogre will switch out, Stealth Rock it'll lower the damage done by Water Spout in addition to lowering the Kyogre's health. So that's a strategy that we haven't really seen because Kyogre hasn't used Water Spout yet in these two matches, or if it has, it wasn't memorable. I believe it used Scald instead. So it's a good strategy to counter Kyogre, and Groudon itself can take hits from Kyogre's Water Spout. So that has been kind of the most interesting idea. But Tricia being able to keep that Incineroar and Stakataka alive in the last match definitely helped, especially because those two are weak to ground, and getting that Groudon out with that Flare Blitz early on in the match, that made Tricia's slower Pokemon safe. It made them into a safer play. And let's get into this final match, because whoever wins this is going to continue their undefeated streak and go 3-0 in this tournament so far. And usually, if you do good in this tournament, 3-0, that's a good shot at making it into the finals regardless. So getting that 3-0 is one of the most crucial point in this tournament. Let's get into this. Same lead from Tricia's side, going for the dual slower Pokemon. This time, Kyle with a hilarious name on his Tapu Fini, but Kyle sending in Tapu Fini. And just like ground, both Stakataka and Incineroar are weak to water, but Kyle's own Incineroar's Sun will neutralize that a little bit, making it more of a normal attack there. Tapu Fini is known for carrying a lot of different moves this year. Last year it carried Calm Mind, Moonblast, Muddy Water. This year, Haze. It carries Haze excuse me, I can't remember the name. Nature's Madness, there we go. That's the name. Nature's Madness is another one we've seen it carry very much because there's the Haze. So Haze will now remove the Intimidate from Kyle's Groudon. Now, thanks to that Incineroar there. The Trick Room coming up now onto from Stakataka. And once again, Tricia is fastest on the field. So Tricia with the advantage there on speed, but again, typing advantage. Once again, back to Kyle, thanks to that ground and water types threatening both of Tricia's Pokemon. So in this case, if Tricia can survive that and is able to hit out either one of these two, that'll be a good advantage for her right away. Well, because Kyle's threat of the Precipice Blades is looming. We know Tapu Fini with Nature's Madness can be a huge threat, so we're going to see Tapu Fini or Tapu Tuesday come on back into Incineroar. So Intimidate coming out on Tricia's Pokemon. That means that Incineroar and Stakataka now at -1 attack. And with the Rock Slide on Stakataka and Gyro Ball, both of them rely on that attack stat. Wide Guard coming out from Stakataka, and that is going to prevent Precipice Blades. If that happens, Knock Off will remove the Groudons. Agua Berry, that's a Pinch Berry, and we're gonna see Stomping Tantrum come out. Stomping Tantrum on Groudon. That is That is, unlike Precipice Blades, only single targets, and that was the surprise play of the match so far. Stomping Tantrum is going to knock out the Stack Attacka. That forces Tricia into Kyogre. We've seen Kyogre be naturally fast, and with Trick Room in play, that's not really a good place for Tricia to be, especially with the Trick Room in play. And now the Kyogre, it did come in most likely to take some hits from Groudon. It most likely can Scald it, and the Incineroar, both weak to water. And the Rain Up now means that the water type is a huge threat. But you also are neutralizing Flare Blitz from your own Incineroar. But in return, you're neutralizing Flare Blitz from Kyle's Incineroar. So that Kyogre affected every single one of the other 3 Pokemon on the field. We're going to see Tricia switch out into... I can't read the name. There we go, Sarina. And Incineroar will go for the knockoff onto Kyogre. We're going to see its item over 50% there. A Choice Scarf. And Stomping Tantrum once again coming out onto Kyogre. A massive amount of damage dealt. Kyle with that Stomping Tantrum coming out. I'm amazed. That is something you never see. Kyle with that surprise play. And that was amazing. And there's one more Pokemon weak to Stomping Tantrum here. It's that Incineroar. And while Sarina is not weak to ground type and actually does counter Groudon pretty well, there's an Incineroar on Kyle's side that does threaten it very, very much, especially when the rain runs out. That super effective Flare Blitz is a lot of damage, possibly enough to one-shot it. Kyle in a great position with 4 Pokemon remaining. Tricia has just the 2 you see on the field here. And Kyle also has, because he has all 4 left, he does have both of his restricted legends if he decides to bring in that Yveltal, we don't know. Double Protect coming off from Kyle's side, scouting out what Tricia's going to do. We're going to see knockoff onto Kyle's Incineroar, and Power Whip onto the Groudon slot. Power Whip, super effective on the Groudon, does a lot of damage. Kyle has he's got an interesting play here because Sarina is, like I said, I don't know if I said this earlier in this match or whenever, but it's the only grass type counter for Incineroar, really. Yeah, it's weak to it, but it's able to high jump kick or low kick or some sort of fighting move onto Incineroar, and that's a huge, huge help here. Because Sarina can counter both of Kyle's Pokemon with those 2 moves. Venusaur coming in, it is weak to the Incineroar slot, but that's okay because Incineroar, it's in the rain, it's not going to do a lot. We're seeing another combination here of Incineroar versus grass type. They're faced each other, but Venusaur and Sarina, that's the only difference here. Knockoff going on to Kyle's Incineroar, getting rid of its item, the Figgy Berry, so it no longer has to recover. Power Whip from Tricia's Sarina onto Kyle's Venusaur does very, very little damage. So Venusaur is going to survive this. The Mist is gone, and the Mist now means status such as Sleep, Paralysis, etc. can now be inflicted, and Venusaur does carry Sleep Powder. Though, and that might be a way that Kyle wants to continue this match, because Sleep Powder, it does not affect the Sarina, but it does on the Incineroar. Venusaur can't hit, really either one of, he can hit the Sarina, he can't hit the Incineroar very hard. And we're going to see Kyle's Incineroar switch out back to Tapu Fini, so Sleep Powder isn't going to happen because of the Misty Terrain. So the Misty Terrain now coming out. No, we're going to see Venusaur go for Protect this turn. So Venusaur, again, scouting out the play. Kyle, though he's gotten Tricia into a final... Oh! There's a feint breaking Venusaur's Protect there. And we're going to see knock off from Tricia's Incineroar onto Venusaur, doing a lot of damage, removing its Expert Belt. Expert Belt boosts. That is another very rare but very interesting move on item on Venusaur. It'll boost the super effective. It'll boost super effective moves from Venusaur, so such as Sludge Bomb onto Sarina, but it wouldn't boost Sludge Bomb onto Incineroar. Now in this case, Kyle, yeah, he's still got the 4 Pokemon and he's got the advantage in numbers, but Tricia's 2, the grass and fire combination really is a thing to be threatened by, and Kyle sees that. He's going to switch into Incineroar. That is a very good switch because of the Intimidate there. Both the Tricia's Pokemon are adamant, or sorry, not adamant. That's an attack boosting nature there, and I don't actually know their natures, but either way, they're both plus in attack, not special attack. So their attacks have now been neutralized. Tapu Fini will get a little bit of damage out onto the Incineroar. Power Whip from Sarina going on to Tapu Fini, but after the Intimidate, not enough to knock it out. So Tapu Fini is going to stay alive, eating its berry, most likely a pinch berry. And yeah, restoring 50%. There it is. It's a pinch berry. So Tapu Fini now back above 50%. And we're going to see Tricia's Incineroar go for a Flare Blitz that was on the Venusaur slot. Now it's Incineroar, and in the rain, on something that resists it, after being intimidated, does extremely little. The rain is gone, though, so now Venusaur is now threatened very much by that Incineroar's Flare Blitz. And we also saw that Groudon was the other Pokemon from Kyle's side. That's also threatened by Flare Blitz. We saw it knock out the Groudon in the last round, so now, with that in play, we know also that most likely Tapu Fini is fastest on the field. Tapu Fini will go for Gravity. That prevents moves such as Sarina's. If it carries High Jump Kick, it doesn't. It carries Low Kick most likely. I don't think Sarina will carry both High Jump Kick and Low Kick, but the Low Kick will do a lot of damage onto Incineroar. Knockoff going to remove Tapu Fini's item if it had one, but it doesn't. So Flare Blitz coming out from Kyle's side now. That Flare Blitz going onto the Sarina, no longer in the rain. That Sarina is gone, and finally we are down to 1 Pokemon on Tricia's side versus Kyle's 4. Although Kyle does have 2 Pokemon in red health. Right now, if this Tapu Fini from Kyle's side carries a water type attack that is super effective on Incineroar, Tricia can't really, I don't think, no, we haven't seen any moves but the resisted moves. Tapu Fini gonna go for Moonblast and not going to go for a water attack. It gets it not quite down to 50%. But Tricia's Pokemon is going to go for a Flare Blitz. That's going to go onto the Incineroar slot. Kyle's Incineroar is gone for good in this match. And gone for good in this round, actually, because this is the final match. And there's the recoil damage. Incineroar still remaining above half health. But Kyle's going to bring out another Pokemon. Tricia has to... There's the Groudon that's super effective. Has a super effective attack against Incineroar. And the Drought. That is a key, though, that Tricia might be able to exploit. The Drought does boost fire attacks very much. So a normally resisted attack on Tapu Fini from Flare Blitz is now neutral. And also, it's going to do a lot of damage onto his Groudon. Moonblast going on to Incineroar. Gets it down to the yellow, and there's the Precipice Blades under the gravity. That is a knockout, and Kyle will take this match. What a match there. Kyle, with his stomping Groudon, is going to take match 3 and is going to go 3-0 in this tournament. A very well played match by both of these guys. As you can see, they both won a match here, so that was extremely intense, and that was a matter of, in that case, thinking through your opponent's strategy. We saw that there was Stack Attacka on Tricia's side. That's really, knowing it had Wide Guard, seemed to really benefit Kyle. He was able to Stomping Tantrum onto it, and I just, props to both of them because they were both able to adjust perfectly, and in this case, Kyle was just able to come out on top. Stick around for round 4, and we'll see you then.